Definitely some cool stuff out of Fnatic yesterday, and ultimately they did take the victory over complexity in the playoffs. Lower round 2 here for the European side of things. This is the DreamHack Masters Spring 2020, and that's not even the only matchup that we had. In fact, you're going to note some more teams on your screen here in just 1 second. The knives weren't enough, so we brought out some more sharp tools. We got Heroic Vitality. Vitality comes out on top, and that one right in the middle of the day was Mad Lions taking on Spirit. Of course, the Mad Lions really put the whooping on Spirit, and that means that Spirit are eliminated. We had to eliminate 3 teams yesterday, but today I've got 3 more matches coming your way. I'll only be here for the first one, and that's going to give us Astralis versus the Ninjas in Pajamas. Could be a bloodbath, or it really could be a one-sided thing. Now, outside of that, it's not alone. It's not just one singular match by any stretches of the imagination. We've got G2 Navi, an upper bracket semifinal, accompanied by another upper bracket semifinal in Big versus FaZe Clan. So, without any further ado, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Let's get this show on the road. Well, he's no Nicholas Bentner, but we'll bring in the best replacement that we could possibly find. That's going to be Jacob Pimp Finicky right there, centered in the middle. Alongside of him is going to be our resident Swiss man, and he's going to go by the name of Matthew. He's ready to do a little bit of talking about Counter-Strike as well. So perhaps we just do this right here, right off the top. Guys, what has shocked you so far in terms of the playoffs? We've only had 1 day, so it can't be too much.
I don't think anything shocked me yesterday. I think we got pretty much as we expected. I was a little bit disappointed, to be completely honest, in Spirit yesterday. I thought they could have done better. I think Fnatic were looking all right. They're getting better and better game by game. So I think we got what we expected, and the big shock is still waiting out there to race. NIP against Astralis today. Can Astralis pull off an upset against a well-playing NIP? Maybe. I doubt it, but no, Minix says no, so just forget about it. Anyway, that could be the shock of the playoff.
Well, I was just thinking, Maniac, I mean, we weren't necessarily shocked, but shocked was in the server yesterday, and he got it done. They were able to stay alive, so that's pretty nice for Vitality, huh?
I'm going to give you that one. It's early in the day. We each deserve a little bit of a joke. That's okay. Indeed, yeah, Vitality looked great. I mean, we weren't sure about the video, but at the end of the day, they just were better than Heroic. They destroyed them on that third map, Vertigo, which we have seen come in. RPK, monster performance. We have to give him some praise. And Saibu slowly but surely coming back to his form, right? Now he's topping the charts once more. He's going back to his glorious days, although I don't think they've really ever disappeared, but he has accustomed us to so many great things. It's great to see him to his fullest power, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, of course, for Heroic, I mean, this wasn't something where they just lay down and took it either. I mean, this is something where we had to see a considerable fight out of both sides. And obviously, with that being said, Jacob, you obviously are a very opinionated guy, and I know that you have some Danish friends on the other side here. So what is your take on this matchup at hand?
I think the biggest problem for me being opinionated is that I lose all my friends to race. So I don't really think I have too many friends when it comes to the Danish Counter-Strike scene. That being said, though, I think Hunton said it pretty well yesterday. Heroic in this tournament overall, they were competitive in every single game they played, but they're still not to the level where you expect them to go up against a team like Vitality. That put a little bit of a pressure on them yesterday, they said. They pushed them to a third map, but apart from that, they didn't really, They didn't really play up to a Heroic level we saw 2 years ago or 3 years ago when Glay was still part of that lineup and really raising the bar over there.
Yeah, well, raising the bar is something that we're going to continue to do around here. We're starting to look through at least all of the games that we got yesterday. We got to start yesterday with one that was really kind of a back and forth there at the end, but ultimately elimination games are never fun for the losing side. Complexity sees their way out. Fnatic see their way through. They stay alive in the lower bracket. And it's something to consider when you have a lower bracket as stacked as what we have right now. That also includes a team such as Astralis.
Yeah, it is actually insane. Like, this lower bracket is insane. To think that we had Fnatic, Complexity, NIP, Astralis, all these names actually just fighting to stay alive, merely stay alive in that competition is like a testament to like the madness we're witnessing at the moment. And for Complexity, I think it's a little bit unfortunate they ran into Fnatic now, because if they had fought them maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, they would have had a wounded beast in front of them. Whereas now it does feel like Fnatic are slowly back on track. You know, we talked with Roland yesterday. He said the build camp is doing us well. We're feeling it. We're back on our better level. And unfortunately for Complexity, Fnatic is one of the best team in the world. When they don't underperform, when they play to the max, they are amongst the very, very best.
And I kind of saw it out of Brolin yesterday. You know, I kind of saw this sort of smirk and smile about it when we started talking about getting the knives out again. And obviously Fnatic, you know, they survived what is the first round of the lower bracket for them. And now they continue on their path. They get to take on the Mad Lions as sort of a reward, I guess. And the Mad Lions being friends of yours. How do you think that matchup stacks up just very quickly, Jacob?
I think that's going to be a great match. I think Mad Lions is en route to have a great season. I think they're constantly involving both as a team, but also the players within it. I did a tweet yesterday saying that Acor to me is one of the most interesting players to follow out there as of right now. His movement, his skills with the AWP. He's just a player that I think, you know, in 2020 could mark himself as being, if not one of the best players in the world, then at least en route to become one. Same goes on for Mad Lions. I think that is a legit team. I think we have to look towards Mad Lions when we look at who is the second best Danish team and who's going to be the second best Danish team for the foreseeable future as well. So going up against a Fnatic that is still slowly but surely getting back on track, it could be a great game. But that being said, Fnatic are still favorites. Fnatic are still supposed to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mad Lions pulls it off.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a pretty middle-of-the-road answer, but I can understand. After talking to Acor yesterday, I would obviously be a little scared of playing against this Danish side. But, of course, they're still in the fight, and we talked a little bit about what it is that we saw from them yesterday. We're going to get to catch up with the lower bracket side of things, but we're still very much in this. And today, getting the matchups that we have on hand, I'm telling you, they're bangers. We've been looking at it. We've been talking about it. Caroline Wozniacki was on the phone earlier. We were just kind of discussing everything. And this is something where we start with the Straw Snip. We got G2 Navi and then Big Face. So looking at the, the slate, looking at the agenda, we have pretty much all our bases covered around here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of skill, if you're a fan of crazy headshots, I think we got it covered today. Like, you should have plenty of these. There are some incredibly heavy hitters that will be on the server today. The G2 lineup, Navi, obviously. But then you think of FaZe and Big, and honestly, the way Big have looked recently online, man, this is not going to be as one-sided as the names might suggest. You might look at it and think, oh, you know what, FaZe, man, they have it any the other week, it's okay. But Big online recently, they've been a threat, literally a threat to any team. So it's going to be a banger of a day.
Yeah, a threat. No ninjas in pajamas in sight. Not just yet. We're going to talk about Big Clan. We're going to talk about them in depth. But first and foremost, I think it's fair that we hear them out.
I'm a former 1.6 player. I started really long time ago, like 1999 probably, in the first beta versions, and I played for teams like in 2003 for Okrana, played also Pro Series in 2004, and then I took a break in 2007 for some years, like for 4 years. I came back, then I made the transition to CSGO when it came out. I ended up behind Etex because Surzon wrote to me that they need a coach, and it was the first time that you could really make a living out of it in Germany, at least. Surzon and me, we also played in a team. Like my first German Pro Series season in CSGO, I played with him together in a team. And that's why he asked me if I want to be the new Etex coach, and I just took the offer. So like I worked on myself as a coach, and I moved on from Etex to Sprout. And yeah, if you get the offer from Big, then it was a natural step for me, because I also always wanted to work with Tabsen. I think he's the best German player. Tabsen, Gob and me, we are working really close together, like on a daily basis, of course, and we create the system together. We took what Tabsen and me and the others players, like what we worked out so far in the 6 months before, added some stuff. We signed the players, or we signed also like Kito and Surzon, because they were pieces missing, basically. Yeah, like the Kaito was a player that we needed instead of Nex, who is also a great player, but he's a different type of player, and Kito is the more like the fresh, aggressive player with no fear, and that's what we needed.
Oh, through the smoke! This is still doable after all.
I think what I brought to the team is like calling wise, it's again the same. Like we work close together, everyone. Like if Gob has sees something where we maybe should do a different call in that round or something, we are just consider us as a working group or something. Yeah, like or we create all the stuff together. We are always talking together about it. What you don't see so much from the outside is that we've really analyzed our communication a lot, and we recognize that we are often way too high, way too also emotional, and we lose, sometimes we lose our heads and don't start correctly in the rounds. We focused a lot on that. I think that's also a big thing lately, why we play better, like more consistent also in the high pressure or in the like really important games.
Big clans sure have come a long way. I'm sure that both of you can attest to that, and they're going to have to be tested today. They have FaZe Clan in the upper bracket semifinal. Of course, for FaZe Clan, they're looking pretty hot to trot as well, and I'm pretty sure if we just look at this thing overall, when we start to take a look at the big playoff bracket pictures, you guys have absolutely no problem walking me through the upper, and I think this one's on you, Jacob.
Yeah, on me, G2 taking on Na'Vi and then Big taking on FaZe Clan. I think Maniac said it pretty well when he described that, like, there's no given winner in those games. Like, G2 have been looking a little bit rocky as of lately. Na'Vi, we don't really know where to put him, so that's going to be a complete open matchup. Whereas for Big and FaZe Clan, you look at those two names and you think to yourself, FaZe Clan is supposed to win that game, but Big Clan have been playing some very solid Counter-Strike. They're looking very good, and Shantaris is once again starting to show that promise that we know him to be. So I think the upper bracket is looking good. As we already discussed, the lower bracket super stacked. Fnatic, Mad Lions, Vitality, and now either Astralis or NIP. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, let's look at this lower bracket here for a second, Maniac, and really think about some of the teams that could be going home sooner rather than later.
Well, the thing is, for Mad Lions, the road to becoming a true top team is still paved with a lot of great teams, and Fnatic is one of these pavements that's in the way. Unfortunately for them, as I said, I think Fnatic is back on track. This is going to be a true test, not only for the roster, but also the map pool. Far from easy, and then Vitality versus, we'll see. I would favor NIP there, but that would be a rematch that we had this week, and it turned out to be a slugfest. So whatever happens, we're going to have great Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You're talking about when we look at that upper bracket, if you flip some of those teams, they go down the lower bracket once they catch an L up there, and it really still continues to get harder for every single team in the lower bracket. You really have nailed that one right on the head there, Matthew. We've gone over what matches we have today. In case you weren't paying attention, it's Astralis Snip is going to be our first one of the day, followed by G2 and Na'Vi, then Big and FaZe Clan. And with that said, of course, we need to thank all of those in our clan here that make this very much possible. We're going to thank the sponsors. We're going to talk a little bit about the people that support and make this very much a real opportunity for not just us, but you, the viewer at home, and the gamers, as well as the competitive players. We're going to take a look at Corsair, Intel. We're looking at Monster Energy, DTS, Betway, AT&T, and of course, our new friend Lily. With that being said, I would ask you to vote in Twitch chat. I think you could do that, but we'll get back to that one in due time. I think we go to a break, and when we come back, we begin to center around the map vetoes and everything that is considered within this first best of 3 of the day.